What is up? My name's Brad and this is Operation GameCube. Now, for any of you that are new to the channel, in this series we're trying to build a GameCube collection starting off with just £10. By using our charity shops, our car boots, our Facebook marketplace, looking for stuff for cheap that we can sell for a profit to build a game fund to buy GameCube bangers. So unlike our regular scheduled programming, there are no updates to the Game Fund. I've just finished recording last week's episode and we are going straight off to Cardiff Gaming Market to hopefully spend the Game Fund adding GameCube games to the collection. Let's just remind ourselves of our list before we go. So this is how our list is looking. Just 14 games left on the list, you probably can't see. But yeah, a couple big hitters at the top there in Kirby Air Ride and Fire Emblem. But hopefully we can pick up one or two of these and add it into our collection this week. So if any of you are going or you went there, this is in the past now, and said hello and we met, it was really nice to meet you. But anyway, let's get off to Cardiff Gaming Market. It's absolutely pissing down outside, so let's get this drive over with. Right everyone, so we're on our way to the gaming market now. In typical Welsh fashion, it is raining. I'm actually early. I paid for early bird entry and it's like 20 to 11, so I'm actually really surprised that we've made it. So let's just get there and see what's happening. Let's go. So this is Cardiff Gaming Market, and on first impressions I was pleasantly surprised. As you can see, it's busy but not too busy. Now I paid for early entry, got there about 20 minutes early. There was already a queue in front of me, but when I got inside I was happy with what I saw. Now the first thing I wanted to do was get round and have a good look and see what was on offer, try and capture a bit of footage for anyone that wasn't there and wants to see what it was like. And again, I was pleasantly surprised. There was a bunch of cool stuff on offer, much better than last year, and yeah, it was really nice to see. As I made my way around, like I said, loads of cool stuff to see. I was also quite surprised about how much GameCube there was. Obviously I went in with no real list or no expectations, but obviously I'm in the midst of Operation GameCube and that is always going to be at the forefront of my mind. So as I made my way around, seeing bunch of GameCube, every stall I went to had GameCube, I'm sure. But unfortunately there weren't a great deal from my list. Had I been going for a full set, I would have definitely come away with a lot more. But yeah, really pleasantly surprised by what I saw at Cardiff Gaming Market. So as well as seeing GameCube games everywhere I went, there were a couple box consoles as well. Obviously I'm in the market for a complete in-box console. Some real nice ones at this vendor right here. He had the Metroid one, he had the Mario Smash Football and also the Double Dash console as well. Unfortunately I weren't in a position to pick one of these up just yet. Quite hefty price tags on them, but still cool to see nonetheless. This is what you want to see at these gaming markets, is these cool sort of stuff you don't see everywhere. So in terms of the event itself, it's held at Cardiff's Motorpoint Arena. It's a fantastic arena, been there many a time for many different events, but they seem to hold this market on the same weekend as Comic-Con. They did it this year, they did it last year. I don't know whether it's a booking issue, whether they don't have a lot of time through the year or availability to have two separate events. I don't know whether it's money, I don't know what it is. But what it does mean is they have to divide the space between the two events, and it seemed like the market got given less space, less real estate. It's probably about 2/3 Comic-Con and a third gaming market. And I popped next door to the Comic-Con and the footfall there was a lot less. It was very empty, I suppose. I know it's a 2-day event. Maybe the Saturday was a lot busier and there was less people coming to Sunday. There was a lot more vendors over that side, but obviously they're selling all sorts of stuff. But the market was rammed. I feel like they should have two separate events, a lot more space. Now the market only had 3 rows of sellers. Real tight, not a great deal of space, and like I said, after about 10-15 minutes it was so rammed in there you couldn't get anywhere near the front, and it was a real shame, put a bit of a dampener on the day for me. So one of the highlights for me was definitely meeting some of you lot, putting faces to names. Shout out Retro Steve, absolute legend. Been talking to him for a long time and finally got to meet him in person. I also got to meet Callum from the Retro Ghetto. He's an absolute legend. I'm a real fan of his channel, and he's a real supporter of mine as well. So yeah, really appreciate you, mate. It was great to meet you. Also got to meet Wayne of Wayne's World of Gaming, absolute legend. He's only up the road from me. I need to link up with him again soon. So yeah, great to meet you, Wayne. And yeah, meeting people and putting faces to names was definitely a highlight for me. Had the event been a little bit bigger, it might have accommodated more of a social aspect. People been able to stop and have good chats and conversation. But had it being so tight in there, it wasn't really that possible. You could have a quick chat, but not really a full-on conversation, which was a bit of a shame. But hopefully these things can be improved upon in future. But we will just have to wait and see. I also want to shout out the vendors now. Every interaction I had with them was super positive. They were real friendly, real accommodating. A couple of them watched the channel, which was really cool as well. And yeah, real big shout out to them, because without the vendors you don't have events like this. I did hear though that a lot of them weren't happy with it, weren't happy with Cardiff's event. And rightfully so, I suppose. It wasn't very big, wasn't very well organised. It could have done with a lot more space. And a lot of them said they weren't going to come back next year, which is a bit of a shame. This is our closest gaming market here in South Wales. I think the next closest is Bristol, which isn't a lot further. But for me, down in Swansea, that's a couple-hour drive, and it would be a real shame to lose our local gaming market. This market accommodates the whole of South Wales, like I said. Some of Mid Wales as well. I know a lot of the boys come down from the valleys to come to these events as well. So it'd be a real shame to lose it. I hope that they just improve upon it in future. I hope that they just make the event bigger. Maybe move to a different venue, maybe a cheaper venue, but a bigger venue. Maybe out of the city centre, I don't know. These are just suggestions. Somewhere where they could accommodate more vendors, but also accommodate more buyers. Have plenty of space, maybe an area for us all to sit down, have a conversation, have something to drink. Make it more of an event rather than just a fly-through market. I find with these things, you're not really there longer than an hour. You do a couple laps, you buy a few bits and pieces, and that's it. I always look to the sort of things they have over in the States. They have these retro conventions where it's not just about buying and selling, but it's also about the experience, the spectacle, the show. Sort of like mixing a Comic-Con with a gaming market, like a retro Comic-Con sort of thing. If you know what I'm saying. I think we need events like this. Obviously, I'm here just throwing these ideas out there. They must be an absolute nightmare to put together, but it would be nice. It would be nice for all of us to go to these events and spend the day there rather than just an hour. So if I had to sum up the event, I'd definitely say it was improved upon last year, but that's not saying a great deal. It still had a lot of the issues we had last year. Still overcrowded, not enough space, not enough vendors, and yeah, just a bit of a shame really. Hopefully they can improve upon it for next year and it could be a lot better. We will just have to wait and see. But after about 10-15 minutes, the place was absolutely rammed. I did a little bit more looking and then I just had to get out of there. And we are back in the games room, back from Cardiff Gaming Market. Now, if you watched last year's video, you will know I did not enjoy the market. It was too overcrowded, too overpriced. There weren't a great deal of stuff there, and it really just wasn't my cup of tea. But I didn't want to give up on these events. We don't have a great deal of options. These are the only types of events we have where we can get a whole bunch of vendors together. You can do kind of a huge game hunt all in one place. Tons of different vendors, tons of different stuff. And yeah, I really didn't want to give up on them. And I'm glad I didn't. It was better than last year, but that's not saying a great deal. Now, a couple of the things were still the same. It was still overcrowded. I think the first 10-15 minutes I was in there, it was great. It was about right. It was a little bit of a crowd. You could still get to each vendor and have a look. But after about 15-20 minutes, the place was rammed to the max and you couldn't move. I had my boy with me and I was just constantly worrying where he was. Probably not the best place to take him, but I don't go anywhere without my sidekick. But yeah, having said that, the best thing for me was meeting a bunch of you lot. Meeting Callum, Retro Ghetto, the first time I met him in person, absolute legend. Big fan of his channel. Obviously, a lot of you probably watch him already, but if you don't, stick a link below to go check his channel out. We also bumped into Wayne's of Wayne's World of Gaming, absolute legend as well. I'll stick a link below for his channel. If you're not watching that, go check him out. And yeah, it was just great to see people, great to put faces to names. There's a couple of people I've been talking to for a while through Instagram and stuff and through the channel, and I just never met in person, so it was really nice to do that. And I did pick up 1 or 2 bits and pieces. I think going in with no expectations or no list or, you know, nothing really in mind, just go in and see what happens was the best way to do it. And yeah, I picked up a couple bits and pieces, nothing that I could have probably picked up anywhere else, but it was still kind of nice to come away with something. And yeah, will I go back again? I'm not sure. Will I try a different city or a different venue? Maybe. When I watch some other people's videos at different events, like at different parts of the country, they do look a lot more comfortable, a lot more enjoyable, a lot more sociable. You can't really stop and have a chat in the Cardiff one. I think the detriment to them is that they have it at the same time as Comic-Con. So they sort of cut this venue, they cut the motor point in half, and half of it is Comic-Con and half is the gaming market, when I think they should do the events separately and just allow more space for everyone. You know, if there's a bigger aisle for people, I just feel it would be a lot, you know, more enjoyable. Definitely the crowd is the worst part for me. Just too overcrowded. This time around, I felt like there was a lot more there in terms of like games and different stuff. Definitely a lot more cooler stuff to see. And there was a ton of GameCube there. We definitely did a GameCube hunt there. I did tend to find I was coming across a lot of the same GameCube, but had my list been longer or had I been going for a full set, I would have been able to knock off a ton of games. There were a load of games there that I don't have, but they just weren't on my list. But having said that, there were a couple that were. But the first thing I picked up is the randomest thing ever. Now, I've been on a Resident Evil kick. If you guys know, if you watched last week's video, I'm playing through Resident Evil 4, absolutely loving it. But already this year, I've done Resident Evil 1 remake, Resident Evil 3, I've done 2 last year, I'm playing through number 4. I plan to move on to the Wii games eventually and try and get through as many Resident Evil games this year as I can, because I'm just loving them. But I did pick up a Resident Evil game for a console that I don't even own, and that is Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D on the Nintendo 3DS. This 2011 Nintendo 3DS release expands upon the popular Mercenaries minigame from Resident Evil 4 and 5 and turns it into its standalone title. It features fast-paced arcade-style combat with a focus on high scores where players defeat enemies within a time limit using classic Resident Evil characters. So yeah, a bit of a random one, but I love the franchise so much that I might just grab all the games. Maybe not duplicates of games that I have on consoles I do collect for. Like, I won't go out of my way to pick up, I don't know, like 5, 6 and all that on the Xbox or any of that. You know, I collect PlayStation, I collect the GameCube, and I collect the N64, and there's plenty of places to pick up the same games on them consoles, so that's what I'll do. But anyway, this one, I just wanted to grab this, along with Gaiden, which is a bit of Gaiden, which is a bit of a grail, very expensive game. Again, I don't collect the Game Boy, but one day I'd love to have that in my collection as well. But let's get to the GameCube games. We picked up 2 GameCube games. One of them is a little bit rarer, which we'll get to afterwards. The other one you could probably find in a lot of your CEXs and a lot of your retro game shops, and it is Pikmin 2. Pikmin 2 is a real-time strategy game where Captain Olimar and his new assistant Louis must collect treasures from a planet to pay off their company's debt. Players control Olimar and Louis separately, each commanding a horde of Pikmin to overcome obstacles, fight enemies and solve puzzles. Key features include the removal of the original game's time limit, the addition of underground caves, 2 new Pikmin types, purple and white, and 2-player battle mode. So this thing is complete. Manual's in there, disc is in nice condition, box is in nice condition as well, and I paid £40 for it. I think they sell it in CX for like 42. This dude had it listed at 45, managed to get a £5 off. I was happy to get it cheaper than CX. When I went in there, I looked up a lot of the prices in CX, and my plan was to not pay more than that. Hopefully pay less than it, but definitely not pay more than it. So yeah, to get this a couple quid cheaper than CX is always a win for me. So we'll stick this on the shelf and knock it off the list. Oh, we're running out of space. I'm just going to put it here for now. And we'll pick up the list. And Pikmin 2 is just down here. That is one more off the list. We're down to 13 games. So the next game, not an expensive game, but a little bit uncommon. I don't really see this very often. I think there's only a couple or a handful available at CEX at the moment. And that is P&O 3, or product number 3.
P&O 3 is a 2003 third-person action shooter developed by Capcom. Players control the mercenary Vanessa Z. Schneider, who must use her high-tech suit to fight against rogue robots in a futuristic setting. The game's mechanics include stylized rhythm-based combat, focused on dodging and chaining attacks to maintain combos, with restricted movement that emphasizes evasion over shooting while stationary.
So this game is complete with the manual, wouldn't have picked it up otherwise, but it also comes with a nice CEX receipt that said they only paid £20 from a voucher. I wonder if that voucher code there is still valid. I wonder if we've got £73. I doubt it. What's the date on this thing? 24. I doubt it very much. But yeah, great to add this into the collection. Like I said, not that common. Not crazy uncommon, but still not very common. Great to add this into the collection. I paid 23 quid for it. It sells in CX, I believe, for 23 quid right now. So I was happy to pay that. Did try and knock him down, but he said price is price, and that's fair enough. I told you guys I'm not going to overpay, but I don't mind paying the same. So yeah, £23 for P&O 3. Stick it on the shelf, knock it off the list. Where is it? P&O 3. So we are now down to just 12 games on the list, and I have actually got one on its way. I picked up on Vinted on the random. That's on its way as well, so we will be down to 11 games when that arrives. But yeah, man, we are moving pretty swiftly. Yeah, a little bit different this week. A little bit of a different episode. No charity shop or car boot hunting this week, but I thought you might like the change. I thought you might like a little insight into Cardiff gaming market. Should you wish to go there in the future, you'll know what to sort of expect, unless things change, obviously, which you'll not know really until the time. So I'm glad I went, of course, to see you guys and to meet Callum and everyone, but yeah, I'm still glad I went. It was a lot different to last year, a little bit better. And yeah, I had a good day out in Cardiff with the family afterwards anyway, so win-win. But yeah, guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, a little bit different, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And we will be back to normal next week, so don't worry. And I'll see you then. Peace.